Today I am going to make my second nerdy nummy cake. I was reading the comments and I got an overwhelming amount of requests for a Triforce cake. I am here to deliver. I thought, why not make the most complicated Zelda Triforce magic that I could think of? I'm gonna go ahead and go for it. I'm gonna make an entire Zelda shield. This is my Zelda mints case that I got at a comic book store, which are yummy, and I'm using this as my blueprint. So today, I'm gonna make a Zelda shield cake. I chose to bake a yellow cake using box cake mix. I love box cakes because they save a lot of time and they are delicious. I'm also using eggs that are free range. They're a bit more expensive, but I like supporting free range foods when I can. If you have a favorite cake recipe, use it. You can use just about any recipe that you want. I would just avoid using recipes with anything that would make the surface lumpy, such as nuts or large chocolate chips. When you're baking a cake using fondant, you just want a really smooth surface. I drew a rectangle to fit the size of the cake pan and then traced the shape of Link's shield within it. Then cut out the image of the shield because it's going to be my template. Align the template on the top of the cake and begin to cut. Before cutting, you just want to make sure that your cake is completely cooled. Once your shape is cut out, it's time to frost. I'm using a vanilla buttercream frosting. I would suggest avoiding any whipped frostings because they don't make the best substrate to lay fondant on. I've decided to divide the task of decoration into 4 phases according to color: blue, gray, yellow, and red, starting with blue. I've traced the shape of the shield background onto a piece of paper, and I'm cutting it out into the fondant. After I've centered the blue background piece onto the cake, I'm going to move on to the next color phase, gray. When dyeing fondant a different color, I like to coat my hands in vegetable shortening to prevent the color from staining my hands. To get the light gray color that I want, I'm going to add 2 drops of black food coloring to the white fondant. Keep working the dye into the fondant. It may look weird at first, but it just takes time for the color to absorb evenly into the fondant. It kind of reminds me of kneading bread. As soon as the fondant starts to resemble the desired color, I compare it to my mini blueprint. Then begin rolling out the fondant to create the layers of the shield's edges. I pre-measured and cut out 2 rectangular shapes, which I will duplicate to cover all 4 sides of the cake, 2 being short and 2 being long. The additional shield accent pieces were the most difficult for me to cut out because they were smaller. These pieces can be tricky, but just take your time and don't rush. I first applied one of the small edges to Link's shield, just kind of eyeballing its placement and adjusting it as I went. Once I found the perfect spot, I just lightly pressed it against the cake. I repeated this with the second short edge, cutting the excess fondant at the bottom. Then I added the 2 long edges, using the same eyeballing technique and cutting off the excess fondant when needed. Using my trusty Link Shield mint case as my blueprint, I placed all of the little gray accent pieces onto the cake, starting at the top of the cake and working my way down. To add the appearance of rivets in the shield's edge, I decided to roll teeny balls of gray fondant and place them along the sides. These thin accent pieces are the last part of the gray decoration phase. When I place them onto the cake, I have to adjust them a bit to get the shape I want. We are now on the home stretch entering the yellow decorating phase, and I couldn't be more excited because you guessed it, it's Triforce time! I roll out the yellow fondant and cut out my Triforce shape. You can't see it in the video, but I have the biggest smile on my face when I place these little triangles onto the cake. Now when Link is out questing, if he ever forgets what he's looking for, he'll be like, "Oh yeah, that thing." Phase Red. The last decorating phase has finally come. I carefully cut out the red crest using a picture I found off the interwebs. My little fingers come in handy here because these shapes are the most intricate yet. But again, just take your time and go at your own pace. After I place the 6 red pieces, which make up the crest, onto the cake, I'm all done. It actually worked. I'm really excited about it. If you have any more suggestions for any other nerdy nummies that you want me to make, leave me a comment and I will do my best to make them happen. Thank you. Bye bye.